So it's been a long time since I did one of these episodes called the Survivor Side Story Podcast. I am the only host, LibraGot90. And in today's topic, I'm just going to talk about this. I do want to get around and talk about like them adding Chucky, which is called AKA the good guy. You know, obviously for license reasons, they're going to not say it's Chucky, right? It's going to be quote unquote the good guy. That's the killer's name. And I think it's going to be released on the 28th of November or something like that. It was in the public test builds, which is in the PTB. And you already know how that goes, right? You already know you're going to have killers that's going to play Wesker and stuff like that in the PTB, which a lot of people hate when killers do that, apparently, which I understand why. On the Survivor, they're like, hey, I want to play against, not a non-medic killer. We want to just see how the new killer is. Even though Survivors, obviously, they're going to probably still try and sweat their butts off, so it is what it is, right? I feel like in this game, it's just like no holds bars, right? And it's been a minute since I did one of these episodes because, sometimes I feel like the algorithm doesn't pretty much push these. These don't really get a lot of views. I do get some engagements on these, so I do appreciate those who like to watch these or listen to these. This is audio. I always tell people, just listen to them. I've gotten back into enjoying editing my videos, putting, GIFs or GIFs, however you call it. GIFs, Jiffy peanut butter, I really don't know. But either way, like, I enjoy doing those. I try to keep up with the latest topics and stuff like that. And the thing that sucks is that I'm on PlayStation. I couldn't really participate in the PTB. Any non-PC players will not have access to that. Nothing we can do about it, right? The devs have long way to talk about that they're going to add cross progression, which the thing about PC that I like, and I don't want to get off on a tangent here, is that, I like that you can customize your layout as far as like your, character lobby, portraits, your, just the aesthetics, stuff like that. I like how you can do that. Plus, I know you can move a lot smoother on PC with your Survivor and Killer. However, I will say when it comes to, and I try to get a lot of Survivor players to understand this because it's just something about, it's a lot of egotistical players in this community, and I feel like I don't really understand. I feel like what people do, I don't know. It's like people do this. It's like they want to belong on like the cool side. They want to belong where everyone else is, like what's happening. Like, oh, you're a casual player if you're on console. So that means like I can't be as good as somebody who's at my level on PC as a Survivor because I'm on console. And here's the thing. The only real difference, right, when it comes to Killer and Survivor on PC and console is Survivor is pretty much the same as far as terms of skill. They're just a little bit of thing that you can do, little nuances that really doesn't make that much different in chases. For example, I will say that when it comes to Survivor, doing a moonwalk forever on PC, that's real cool. It's really hard to do that on console. I've been trying to do it for a while, but I can continue to do. I can do it like a little bit, but it's not as fluid or as long as as I'm sure someone can do it on PC. But other than you trying to take off the chains to Pinhead, because there is a different button you can press on PC to get the chains off versus on console, the same button you do to try to take off the chains is to throw down the pallet and to also vault the pallet. So a lot of times, like if anybody who plays on console can attest to this, right? Or if they're getting chased by a Pinhead and they try to take off the chains and you're about to drop pallet, you'll slowly vault back into him, and that's very frustrating. Like that's literally the most frustrating thing you have in this game. Other than a moonwalking and other than the aesthetics and the customization and taking off the chains and stuff like that, in terms of skill and movement, there's really no difference. And I really wish people understood that. I really wish people stopped trying to bandwag and be, I'm on PC and you're on console, so you're a casual player. I have 6K hours, dude, within 3 years of this game. That's more than a lot of players in general, let alone like in the 3 years little time that I've done it, right? I know everything there is to do with Survivor on PlayStation, right? I have videos, I know how to loot, I know how to do all those things. But again, people want to be cool, they want to try to belong, and they want to just claim stuff. And then when it comes to Killer, however, I will say the difference, it can make a difference if you're on console and PlayStation, because with Killers, let's say if you're an Oni, you can curve better with a mouse than you can on a controller. Like does that make sense? Versus you're being on controller and you got like a nurse, you might be just a tad bit limited. And you gotta realize Killer and Survivor move differently. Survivors who are mostly just are skins. our items that we bring, and then our items have iridescent add-ons that you can use. That's the max. Versus killer, they are their ability, their movement, their perks, and survivors are their perks too. Like, I just want to add that. So survivors are perks, skins, perks, items, iridescent add-ons to those items, right? Versus killer, there are their speed, abilities, perks, and iridescent items. Iridescent power. So that means their iridescent is gonna make it's only enhance their powers to the max. And even then, that just takes a little skill and knowledge of the game. But I guess my point I'm saying is you cannot be like a brand new player and be on PC and think that you can just automatically be better than me or have more knowledge into the game. Because the thing is, I feel like a lot of killers really disrespect how good it is to be survivor. I think I've said this before. A lot of killer mains will say at the highest level of the game is survivor sided. And I feel like with the right coordination, with the right team, if you watch Team Eternal, I think that's still like the best team in DBD, or at least that's considered, because they play a lot of people like that play comp DBD, quote unquote comp, which there's a lot of restrictions and stuff like that. Certain killers can't be played on certain maps and certain items and whatever, and they pretty much play on the exact same maps against like some of the best killers in the game. Is that I can understand how that is, like with them, like they have like comms, they have, communication, and they have a lot of hours, but they don't play a lot of public matches, right? But even in public matches, if these people played in public matches, there's no restrictions. So if you play against, like I've seen them play in their streak, right? They did a streak where they did just one perk of each. They each had one perk, and they end up, and it's so funny to me how when people go on these streaks, like whether it's them or anybody that I've watched, right? Whether it's Ots and them doing their thing with like the hardcore, they seem to always lose to Blight. They always seem to lose to Blight. I don't know what it is. It always seems to lose to Blight. Because the way this game has become very stale, which is the topic I really want to talk about after I kind of talk a little bit about Chucky a bit, is just how boring and stale this game has really become. Like, it's really become very predictable in chases and just mind games and just how things are, how you have to play things, etc. So, but let me just kind of talk a little bit about like the Chucky thing and why I feel like as well. I just want to touch a little bit on that. I think it's cool. Chucky might be the only killer I actually really play for, like just to play and actually try. I haven't played killer in a very long time. I just don't feel like I'll have much enjoyment playing killer. I have a challenge playing survivor, and I play solo queue. I'm not bored of the game. It's just more of like trying to make interesting content that haven't been out there. Again, I can't make content based off of the PTB's, the, quote unquote, the good guy. I can't play him. I can't make a new video. I would definitely have tried. Though I work a lot, I would have definitely made time, but I'm on console, so I'm limited to that, and I just think that sucks. Obviously, cross progression can't be that easy, because if it was, I think it would have been done already, so I have to just accept what I can. I like that, like the way he moves. That's the only killer that's played in third person. So, and just the way he moves, definitely this, especially with this killer, I just don't see a lot of kids being able to play this game, like once this killer's released, because he does a lot of cursing. He does a lot of cursing. I'm talking about like Sailor, like a lot of cursing. And I know there are like teams that play this game or whatever, but I'm talking about like, like when I was a kid, I was playing all kinds of games, but like this game is definitely that. And it's already like horror and gore and all that stuff. Like, but I like that they added that, and I kind of felt they were going to do that. I guess everybody wondered how it was going to work. I'm not familiar with the perks and add-ons and stuff like that, but I am familiar just like the way he moves. He can crawl under the pallets. The way he jumps on the pallet to breaks it, he can. Now people wonder like how is he gonna pick you up. I guess they, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, created a way for his spirit self to like pick you up. If that's his former spirit self when he was like, made into the doll, and he picks you up, and so I guess they like the spirit's carrying you on one arm and then carrying Chucky on the other, and you can actually see Chucky and stuff like that. But other than that, that's the only killer that's played in third person. I think it's fun, like the way he moves and he's run and screaming. I think that'd be really fun and more like a meme killer. I don't know how they would make the killer really strong, because here's the thing too, and I'm kind of gonna talk about something else in the sense of like, I love that they make the game interesting. I think the thing that they keep the game fresh are two things, right? Survivor's cosmetics, that people love buying them, including myself. I ain't gonna hold you, especially if it's for Nia, which I rarely get them, and just adding newer killers. especially if they're like licensed killers. Like we just had the return of Stranger Things. Stranger Things haven't been out, haven't been to DBD since 2021. It's been around prior to it being taken away with the license around 2019. So it lasted about 2 years. Mind you, I started playing in 2020 of like, I'm gonna say October or September, one of those months. And the thing is that like I was excited because here's the thing, I never seen Stranger Things and I don't really care to watch Stranger Things, but I think it's like a TV series, or I don't know if it's a movie. I think it's a TV series. And like Demogorgon was the first thing I've seen on DBD. I've never seen Demogorgon really anywhere else. I didn't even know what his name was. But during the time I knew that they were taking it away before, I just couldn't get it before. So here's the thing, like before they was taking it away, you you weren't gonna be able to buy any more cosmetics or any more characters that they added to the game or any more skins, whatever. But like they said, buy it up now. Cause if you bought Demogorgon, if you bought Nancy, Steve, if you bought that one dude, I forgot his name, Jonathan Byers. He looks like a bug and sounds like he's been bitten by bees, or stung by bees rather. Like he just sounds weird, looks weird. But if you bought them, you can continue to play as them, but you can't get any updated cosmetics. The Christmas stuff you couldn't get if they have like the cosmetics. And certain things I just didn't have before. Like I didn't get them, so I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and get these people. Let me go and get the cosmetics. But when they took them away, there were certain cosmetics I lamented that I didn't get. So now that they got them back, I was able to get it, and I felt refreshed. They brought back Hawkins. I did a video on this, on why I think also, if you guys want to check it out, it's on one of my latest videos. But Hawkins, they brought that back, and a lot of people felt very nostalgic. I forgot this YouTuber or streamer name. Forgot his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But he played as Nurse, and then I remember, like, I guess on Twitter, he was a bit teary-eyed about it because he is nostalgic. Like, it's something about good memories, right, that, reminded you of, like, the old times. And he had Nurse, and he was able to go through a wall and saw, like, a clipboard and some writings on there, and I guess that just made him feel some type of way. But I did do a video about like why I think, like, especially with today's killers now, dude, like since that map been going for 2 years, like the killers that's just a horrible map. And like when it comes to like looping wise, it might be good for like M1 killers, but it's even OP for like killers that's like night players and, Weskers in the zoning, and like the Demogorgon already with his stupid shreds and stuff like that. And then there's always people online acting like they would look like, oh, they know how to loop everything and everybody. And the moment you watch their clips or their videos or their streaming, they getting dropped off and chased. They're dead within 20 seconds, right? Or they just don't understand, like, RNG plays a big factor into this game. RNG plays a huge factor in this game when it comes to just everything. It seems like only killer understands RNG when it's against them, and try to make excuses for why, they lost the game, or why they didn't get a dub, even though they got at least a 2K, so they didn't lose the match. If they would have played a little bit more optimal, maybe they would have got a 3K. Who knows, right? But RNG plays a huge factor. Another thing that keeps this game fresh too, I know I got off on a bit of a tangent. Another thing that really keeps this game fresh is adding new killers. Like, yeah, they added Stranger Things again, so it was gone after 2 years. It came back, and then they're gonna add and then they added Chucky. Here's the thing. I just feel like the way this community is, in the way people just can't take L's, or just the way this game is in design, just like what you have to do and how people hate losing, especially if they have like the in-game chat from survivors. Like, say you play Chucky, right, and you're new to that killer, you're trying to figure it out. That's why they added the bots. That's why they added that, so that way you can actually figure out the killer's power, without worrying about like the pressure of a survivor trying to gen rush it or whatever. Even though you have the AIs that's gonna still do the same thing. But you can pretty much, pick the map. You can do whatever. I don't think they have that for survivors yet. We don't have it where I can just play against a killer. I mean, I can go into like, the mode where you just start in the game. You can play against a trapper that's not doing too much. But other than that, I mean, they don't pretty much really have that. The whole point, what I'm saying is that the thing that keeps this game fresh are cosmetics, and like DLC characters or licensed killers and stuff like that. But I just feel like at the same, or I think, or rather I know, that they're just probably not going to play Chucky as much as they're going to play, the night. Because people still want to win. Winning is very important to a lot of people. So much so that people run metas on both sides. People are going to be running night players because people just hate chasing these days. The amount of The thing that make this game boring it's not boring. It's like, how can I say this? The game is not boring to me, right? It's never boring. Something that's like toxic, but it keeps you on your toes and edge and keeps you just want to go to the next match. It's not toxic. That's why there's a lot of people that still play this damn game. It's never boring. It's just that there are certain play styles that gets very old and boring. Like there's certain killers, like for example, Knight. The moment the Knight sees you throw down a pallet, or he just sees you in general, most Knight players will not chase you. They will literally send out their guards, send out their ghosts, whatever. And the fact that they can not only go through walls, but levitate to, like, let's say a house structure part, you at the top. And he shoots it away, and then he can just like zone you out. Like, and the thing that gets me is like, I done did videos, I done showed stats, I done showed all of this stuff. Like, at the end of the day, killers don't seem to be struggling. They don't. Like, I had somebody say, oh, well, a 2K isn't a loss technically, but it's not a win, therefore it's a loss. No, it is not a loss. It's not a win, you're right, but it's not a loss. It's a null. It's a tie. You know, just like if you judge us as a team, 2 people got out, 2 people died, it's a tie. Even though the scoring is different for survivors, right? Because if I die individually, I lose regardless, even if I was part of that person that died with another person, but then 2 people got out. Yeah, as a team, there was half. Like if you were judging it by a competitive DBD, but I lost individually. Whereas killer, they didn't lose if they get a 2K or better. Does that make sense? I just don't like when people act like it doesn't matter what I show killer in this community. Oh, well, at the highest pinnacle of DBD and comp scenes and all this stuff, Survivor is better. Even if that is the case, you still cannot compare a small portion. Like, you have to understand, like, the amount of cap. You think everybody is good at DBD? You think everybody has 6,000 hours and know how to loop and run killer? You have to really understand the map layouts and structures. You have to really understand what you are doing to be able to run killer. Killer is designed to, if the chases lasting more than 15, 20 seconds, right, Bloodlust will kick in, like different tiers of it. The fact that there's basically what they're saying, the devs are basically saying when they made this is, we don't want you to run from killer that long, so we have to give them a boost to catch you. And for some reason, killers just don't see how that's a carry. They just don't see it. They'll complain about made for this, even though it's 3%. And I understand, yeah, they be like, okay, it's not just 3%. You know, if you know how to loop and hug again, it's so funny to me how people just act as if like a brand new player, like my boy Eddie from work, can just jump on, here's made for this, here's windows of opportunity, here's adrenaline, and but then 5 seconds he'd be dead into that game because he has never played DBD. Why do y'all act as if like the perk alone makes it? Oh, but let me guess, you guys are gonna say, oh, well, no, we're not talking about those players, we're talking about really good players. I will argue there are more bad players than there are good players. You really have people who just don't know what they're doing. You can't just look at a small portion of the community that knows what they're doing compared to the masses and casual players and just say that's how everybody is. To me, that just disrespects so much hours and time and stress that I have put into this game. I'm talking about when I was grinding Prestige 100, I was literally pulling my hair out. Like, I'm not saying that to be on some BS. Because, like, it's so frustrating to work so hard in a match to run a killer that's not easy to do, especially with all these anti-loop killers, such as the Night players, such as the artist, where she can set up her birds and zone you out. You can't even flash like the birds anymore. You can't even, the things that they have done. And let me guess, people are going to be like, oh, well, killers got things to do. Stop comparing killer nerfs to survivor nerfs. I beg of you, please stop doing that. Please stop comparing the nerfs, bro. The game is called Dead by Daylight. Like, what the hell are y'all talking about? It's called Dead by Daylight. The devs literally said that they've made the game. They wanted to, when they, at the six, listen, I don't know how many times I've mentioned this patch, but y'all don't understand. And if you're new, you probably don't get it. And then there are people who understand, but they just don't care. They want to still continue to lie when the facts are literally out there in public for them to see. They made the game so that the killers can perform better. It's a website called Nightlight. If that is accurate, and it shows that the kill rate on average, I want you to understand average, right? Like if you ever watch the NBA, there's like average NBA players, like they're not as like special or as like elite as like a Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James. Like these are like elite basketball players, Hall of Famers, right? So you would like when I say like there are average players that are still good compared to most people that are just playing basketball in a pickup game, right? But they are average, but they're still good. But they're average, but they're gods to you because they're average in the NBA play, but they're still like, you know, tall and they can still hoop. But in the NBA, they're just regular dude. They're just like a pickup game when they compare like LeBron James and KD and Stephen Curry. Like, I guess my whole point, what I'm saying to that, is that when people take average players and average killers and they are averaging 54% kill rate, I'm not even talking about Ott, Hexy, if he still plays, Otofu. And I'm not saying these are the greatest and god of all killer mains. I'm sure there are people that's better than them or more consistent wins. But if these people are saying that they are bored of the game or that the soft cap is too, you know, it's just basically too many people are coming in there that's not at that level because the MMR isn't working properly, it just means that it's either they're just getting players that's bad. Because think about it. If these people are already good before 6.1.0 patch, I'm talking about like the huge buff. And if you are brand new to the game or you don't remember that, please go back and look at that patch and you'll see it. And it's kind of hard for me to even explain this to newer players because, and I'm pretty sure they're already corrupted with the mentality of a lot of these killer mains. It's really hard for me to explain to them a different time because even so, if you add in Swifts, if you add in, you know, solo queuing players and all that stuff. I ain't talking about comp players where they play in private matches. I'm talking about people who plays. I don't know if they still count those numbers. They may still count those numbers because I don't see how that wouldn't be counted at the end of the day. They say the average is 54%. That means if you're just okay at the game, you're still getting 2 kills per match. So the reason why I'm comparing that the basketball thing to DBD is that good players like Hexy, Otts, and, you know, all these people are like KD, Steph Curry, LeBron. You know what I mean? They're like really good NBA players compared to DBD players that are really good killer mains versus average killers who are like the guy who's like on the bench and they still are pretty better than a lot of people who just play regular pickup. That means there are a lot of average killer mains who still within that 50 percentile. It's just logic, and these are things that you can actually go see. Like I don't see the problem is people like to lead off emotions versus logic, and I'm gonna tell you why. People don't like to have like actual debates. Like I brought a DBD hat, right? Well, hold on one second. I had to get something to drink real fast. So I've actually I have a Dead by Daylight hat, right? I have like the Dead by Daylight book bag. I have the beanie now. I actually have it on while I'm actually doing this. You know, I got my pop vinyls, I got my Myers, I got my Ghost face. I got all of these like things in my room, right? So because I'm a gamer. This is a gamer's life. But I wear these things on the outside because I like, as far as like, I mean, and I'm about to get a Dead by Daylight wallet. Ugh, I cannot wait. Because I want to attract people who plays the game. It's just a personality thing. It's like I have Dunder Mifflin, you know, the paper company hat. I have the office mug. I want people to recognize it. It sort of, you know, tells a story about me saying anything. And I've only met like a couple people out in person to talk DBD. And I would love to talk Dead by Daylight with any good killer main that opposes my viewpoints. But this is what I get on Twitter. I get disrespect. I get attitude. I get people in my comments. I don't care that you I don't care that you disagree. I appreciate everything that I get. Okay? Like and everybody's gonna agree with me, and everybody's gonna. I'm fine with that. But just be respectful. Why do we have to say things and say stuff that you know you wouldn't say in person, right? I wouldn't say I'm not acting like I'm this hard dude, and I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm not no blight in real life. I'm not just gonna be rushing towards you. You know, I'm not gonna put on Alchemist ring. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't got enough BP for that. You know what I mean? But like, my point is, just like, we can have like a civil discussion and debate. Like I wrote on Twitter, I was like, you know, why, you know, if you guys gonna rework made for this, can we just rework the maps for Bloodlust? I mean, even Tofu said this. Like he even said this, like he hate the way Bloodlust works because it's still a free catch. Oh, the argument here. Oh, some of these killers will not even catch y'all. Okay, listen. The mere fact that true infinite, y'all would never change my mind on this. True infinite is when windows cannot block. True infinite. Like, true infinites are when windows cannot block. So even if you have these loops and people know how to chain them and they know how to mind game and all of these things, at some point, if you keep chasing them, right, you will catch them if you actually know how to mind game and play it. But it's also the fact that windows will block eventually. They don't have it where it don't block anymore. I can have a killer chase me all day in Garden of Joy. Here's the difference. I know what I'm doing. I usually bring a build and I bring that map, but I know what I'm doing. But eventually, if that killer chase me all day, he will catch me. Bloodlust will pick up. The problem is eventually he will be wasting a lot of his time, and that's what he'll realize. And then, assuming I have good teammates and teammates who aren't stupid, they'll be doing their gens. But this is what I get in solo queue. This is what a lot of killer mains do. And it's just crazy to me because I'm going to tell y'all this just like this, right? I'm going to keep it like a buck 50 if I had it. There are killer mains, they'd be like, oh, I could tell people don't play Survivor. You don't play a lick of Survivor. You don't play. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I do not play a lot of killer. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. There are killer mains that say you don't play a lick of killer, right? You don't play a lick of killer. I can tell you play Survivor all day and stuff like that. And you're not wrong. You're not incorrect at all. But I've played enough killer before. I did a test run. I actually have a video on that on my page. It's in a playlist. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things. It made me a better Survivor, man, because there are certain cues and audios and auras that I know killers see now. Like, they automatically see generators. They scratch marks. I didn't even know what that was in the beginning. Like, I'm like, what is this red scratch mark? I didn't know that was the scratch marks. You know what I mean? How pretty much killer literally go off of vision, but mostly like audio as well too. But this, like, yeah, like, look at it like this. Like, this is why lightweight is really good. I recommend this perk to a lot of people. Lightweight is a very good perk. I understand people be like, oh well, good killers will pick that up, but listen, the fact that it can throw you off as a killer if you haven't like, the perk has a sporadic type of scratch marks, and it's I think it's less visible, 5 seconds less. So if you don't have lightweight, your scratch mark is going to be lasting a little bit longer, and it's not as, like, it's very consistent, versus if you have lightweight, it's very sporadic, it's all over the place, and it stays visible 5 seconds less. And that's assuming if you have it in, like, on the 3rd tier, which is the purple one, right? These are like different perks that people can run, but there's a lot of things that I learned playing killer and understand, and there's something, and sometimes I do understand why people feel like they have to slug. I'm not gonna say that I don't feel that they don't have to slug at all. I understand that, especially if people having, communication, they having, like, they can pick you up with I forgot that one perk where you immediately become injured when you lift them up immediately, and I forgot what it's called. Like, you're in a broken status. I understand those things, but this is the one thing that I never did on a consistent basis as killer, and I still average at least 50% of my wins. I never chased a good Survivor all day. A lot of y'all just cannot take the L. Stop chasing a good Survivor all day. Dude, a lot of y'all are just stubborn in real life and on the game, I can tell. Because now it's like, well, F these Survivors, right? Like, that's what y'all be doing. Like, relax, chill out, B. Like, chill out. Like, go sit down, get something to eat, come back. Stop chasing a good Survivor all day and then blame. Because, it's the same thing. Killers will say Survivors don't play killer, but there are a lot of killer players who do not main Survivor, and that's obvious. They're not. But what I mean to say is they don't play Survivor. Like, you'll casually jump on, and you don't care if you are good or not. You just want to jump off and take a break from killer. Maybe you had a lot of rough games. Maybe you're just tired of it. I get it. Maybe you want to try a new Survivor. Maybe you want to up your skill. I feel like you should play both to understand both sides. It just makes you it just makes you more aware. But you know how many times I've seen killer mains bitch about made for this, and then they running it when they play Survivor? Like, what is that? I didn't seen killers talk about, that perk is so broken, and they running it. Why are you running it? If it's so broken and so OP, I done seen killers complain about the old Dead Heart. I mean, the company we works that forgotten. You know what I mean? They complain about the old Dead Heart, and then they're running it. And they always be like, I pressed E, it's not working. I always argued that their heart only worked like 50% of the time. The old one or the new one. You know how many times that you literally pressed it, and for some reason they still gave the killer the right away to hit you anyway? And when people be like, oh, just, like when we tell killers to just wait it out, and they be like, yeah, just wait it out, right? And then I miss. Bro, that is a survivor just outplaying you. But I've never played a game in my life, bro. I've played a lot of games. I'm 33, right? I played a lot of games. But I just never been a part of a community that was so entitled on both sides. I've never like just seen just such entitlement and just such obliviousness, if that's even a word that I just said. Obliviousness, I don't know, but you get it. Don't correct me. I hate when people know what I'm talking about and they be like come on now, like relax, all right? Like you get it though, a little bit, right? Cause they both do it. Like I just watched Spook and Jukes video on a guy who was complaining about being slugged by a killer in a moment and camping and being camped, but the moment he played killer, that's all he did. He played night. I'm pretty sure he don't like going against night players, but he literally played as night. Slug, camp, beat on hook, he did all of that. I used to watch this streamer, I forgot her name. Literally. It was like night and day. It was like she was like a different person. She played Survivor, clickety clack. Back in the day, you can hold the flashlight, make that sound, and you can click it really fast and stuff like that. And then like the moment she played killer, boy, when I tell you, like it was just like it's like they were just two different people. I just don't get that. I just don't like that. And my point is that that's fine. Like you can feel any way you want. But just understand logic from both sides. Everybody runs meta on both killer and survivor. It seems like the meta, I might make a video on this. The meta is gonna have to, as far as style of play, you're gonna have to like have anti aura perks for killer. Like you have to run calm spirit. That is when you can stop yourself from screaming, because people are always running. What's that one perk? It's called Nowhere to Hide, right? Or something like that, where like Survivor, please correct me if I'm wrong, but Survivor screams every 25 seconds. It's one of those. I'm not going to look it up, but you know what I mean. Because it's definitely meta. It's top 10 killer perks. That's all you hear. Or there's Lethal Pursuer. So killers just getting free downs because they can just catch you. See, this is what gets me about killer though, right? Because here's the thing, I have no problem getting on survivors. And people who watch me for a while or listen to me, they know what I'm talking about. The same survivors that want to complain about how they died and they lost, but then they're never on gens. Even if you switch last minute to a flashlight, you're only gonna get newer killers and bots who just are completely unaware that you have a flashlight saved. So, okay, I'm gonna switch last minute to a flashlight. Therefore, there's no Franklins. But that doesn't mean that he still can't be aware. I mean, if I'm killer right now and I see you have a flashlight, this is what killer means. Listen up. This is what you do. Somebody last minute switch, right? You don't have Lightborn. You don't have Franklins, right? When you down a survivor, you know they are around. You fake the pickup. You go to that survivor that's on the ground that you downed. You fake the pickup. You pause. And then you look around, and I guarantee, I'll bet my whole paycheck, no, I won't. But I guarantee you're going to have a survivor come out the woodwork, and you can just hit them. Why do y'all see a flashlight in the lobby, Franklin's or not, even if they last minute switch, and still get caught with a flashlight save? Oh, let me guess. We're going to make an excuse, though. We're going to make excuses. We got to make excuses. Hi, more survivors. They're so OP. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, listen. Like, I got 2,000 subs now. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Like, I wasn't at 2,000 subs. Rush to get to 3,000 subs and stuff like that. I just get to the point where it's just like, I like the idea. Like, the thing that keeps me going in this community, outside of the fact that I mostly just play this game, and this is all I've been playing for the past 3 years only, is I like how excited the community can be and can get when they get something like Chucky, Stranger Things back. It feel like it's bringing the community back. But I just hate, and I really hate the way people just they want to be toxic. They want to expose you. They want to find a way to just be toxic. They want to find ways. to have a gotcha moment. They want to do that. They want it to. It's just people in general too. Like online, I see it all the time. I watch basketball a lot. I see LeBron. He's a great dude. To me, one of the best players easily of all time. And you just see people just like, it's hard to find negativity with him, but yet at the same time, people will find it. That's just how they do in this community. You can't say nothing. Especially if you're a survivor, man. You can't say nothing. Apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about. I have 6,000 hours. I apparently haven't been around the game long enough. And the only thing y'all say is, oh, well, Bloodlust is needed in the game for basic attack killers. And, oh, if Survivor just wouldn't hold W, even though that's just them outplaying you, bro. Survivors still move the exact same speed. They're still faster than Survivors. The only killer that's not faster than Survivor is Nurse. But that's like without counting Bloodlust. If you count Bloodlust, then obviously she's going to catch you. Every killer is still faster than every Survivor. And the only perks we have that is fast is for a moment of time, which we still have made for this. It's just going to be now you're going to be like in the stage where you can't really see and all that stuff. So you're still going to move, but now it's just going to be more of a thing, right? That you have to do, like an extra thing. It just can't be the way it is. I don't know, man. I like how excited people got when Stranger Things came back, but I feel like at the same time you're still gonna go against Nurses, go against Blights, gonna go against the Trickster. Trickster are getting a buff. You're gonna go against like I said, Night Players. It's just gonna be the same thing. I don't even think Chucky is gonna get played all that much consistently. I mean, people might wanna you'll get a killer that are just like just want to meme around. And here's the thing too, and I also understand why. I'm gonna tell you why a lot of survivors are very like there are killers, and I will say that there are killers that want to be nice. There are killers that want to be, fun, have a mean build, but then you get them survivors, bro. Listen. So killers, I feel like they are. How can I say this? And I'm not trying to lose my train of thought, but I'm trying to understand this. Like, there's nothing worse than just Survivor's ego. I think between killer and survivor, is just Survivor's like got the biggest ego, in my opinion. I feel like killers are entitled more than they think they are. Like they say stuff that survivors kind of say just in like a parallel way. Like they'll say stuff like, these survivors are so entitled, they're just how oblivious they are, how killer is supposed to be played until they play killer and do the, and then they'll understand why we play the way we play. But it's literally the same thing on the other side. A lot of killers don't play a lot of survivor, or they don't main it. So, it's not 50-50. It's like 60-40, 80-20. So, they don't play a lot of solo queue. For them to just say, oh, this game is, it's night and day in solo queue. It's night and day. Obviously in solo queue, you're playing with randos versus in Swift, you're mostly playing with your friends that is good at the game. Or you might be a streamer and you're just playing with people and you really don't care. But, it's different. And then if you're playing Survivor and then there are certain perks that you don't know how to use that well, you don't use as much. So you sit here and wonder why Dead Hard you press, and then you start to feel why, Dead Hard wasn't as good as you thought it was. Yes, it was a very popular perk. But I always argue that there were just different perks that I would rather use than just Dead Hard. But what I'm saying is that like both sides just have this thing where they're both entitled. But there's just something about a survivor, bro. It's like I've seen a lot of survivors that aren't good as they think they are. Like, you have to understand, you are going against us, so you're against all of us as killer, right? Like, you're against all of you, against me, your daddy, whoever. You're against all of us. So you might see one survivor and you had a messed up game, and then like the next game you're just like, whatever, I'm finna be toxic, I'm finna play night, I'm finna camp, I'm finna hit on hook, whatever. But I'm the survivor that suffers from both of them. I suffer from entitled and bad survivors, egotistical survivors, and the killer who's just playing killer or a toxic one. So to me, I look at who's really oppressed in DBD, right? And I'm not talking about like oppressed like in real life. So I'm talking about just like oppressed like in the game, like who suffers a lot, right? And it's, to me, it's just a solo survivor. It really is, because I want people to understand, like, it takes 4 survivors actively, participating to even try to beat Killer, to even try to escape. And you just have so many survivors. Again, you got killers who are just going to do their job, whether they're being toxic or not. They're just going to come and get you. Even if they're playing night, they're probably just playing the killer they just want to play. But then you have survivors. They do this thing where they either are too altruistic or too objective. And what do I mean by this? They too altruistic, they go right in front of the killer and unhook, and they expect the killer not to go after that person, which is so stupid. I done seen survivors unhook someone after they get, no, I seen a survivor get unhooked, and then they try to take the hit for the survivor that just unhooked them, and then when the killer hits them and then go after them again, then they want to claim, oh, I'm being tunneled. But I understand you're trying to be like a good teammate here, but it's like you could have just like moved out the way and then allow that person to get hit. Considering they didn't have probably like like the player wasn't injured, but you took the hit and then expect that killer not to get mad at you and go after you. Again, if the killer wants to do it, wants to go after you, they could, and it's fair game, right? There's a difference between like hardcore tunneling where a killer just only going after you in the game, and then there's like a killer just like, okay, you just tried to take a hit for your teammate. Yeah, I'm gonna go after you because obviously you wanted that smoke. And then it's just like, so you have that, and then you have like the overly objective survivors where like there's survivor mains, and I swear, and I know it's one of y'all that probably watches me, that will literally just only do gens. They not finna go for a save. They not finna go. They literally will sit. I done had teammates. I'm next door on the hook. They just started the gen and will not get off that generator. And I just be wanting to like this time I can talk to them and like to see how they doing, and then snap on them and then block. See, I talk my shit. I don't care, and I will block you after that. I could care less. I'm not one of them people that act like I don't do that. I don't come at you personally. I don't talk about I don't say stuff that's like obviously not okay. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But on the game, I'm on your ass. Like have the messages turned off. I've always said this. Have it turned off. It's just a game, I know, but have it turned off though, because it's not gonna stop anything. Because you don't understand, like maining Survivor is the most oppressive thing you can do in this game. Because when you main solo queue, I'm talking about, man, anytime I'm playing with like everybody, we all people in 100, we all got 12,000 hours damn near in the game. Like, I'm talking about like I main and I play Survivor, and the way MMR works in this game is real cut and dry. If you lose the game, you go down to MMR as Survivor, even if you run the killer for years. So it means I'm getting newer players. I'm getting teammates who just don't care. I'm not getting juicers on my team where the killer can really hardly find the weak link. It's just very different. And I need people to understand that there's just a very different thing. And when killers try to say this game is survivor-sided, again, if you want to talk about at the pinnacle where, these people are in DBD comms, and these people know how to do this, that, and the third, and all this stuff like that, and if you have the right communication and stuff like that, which, again, a lot of these people still lose to Blight. Something about Blight, dude, and nurses, bro. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, they got these newer killers that's coming to the game, but I still know that they're still going to be choosing the killers. Like, I don't know how often Chucky will be played, but you got to realize, like, Wesker's still going to be more played. Because people are going to try to have fun at the new, as the new killer. And they're either A, going to get trash talked by survivors saying, ha, whatever, even though you're just trying to mess around. And that's going to make you feel some type of way. Or B, you're just going to, I don't know, just like not perform as you like to perform. And you're just going to get frustrated. Because you want to win. So I just feel like adding these new killers is cool. But I still think like just the way things are and the way people are in this community, I just feel like it's going to always be the same type of killers that's just going to get chosen. People are going to still run meta because they want to still dominate. People get trash talk all the time. And I watch these streamers, dude. I watch them. Like these salty, I'm going to watch them later like once I get done doing this. But these streamers, bro, like I seen it. So if I was a killer, I could understand why like they feel the way they feel. Because these survivors and the egos that they have, bro. Everybody's a god survivor. Everybody's a, you can't tell them nothing. Everybody D-rides. I can't wear a cosmetic without being told that I can't wear that because somebody else wears it. Somebody else who's popular, who's more famous, who got more subs. I can't wear that because you're a so-and-so wannabe. Like, I can't do. I'm not as good as somebody else because of that. Like, that's kind of why I don't stream. That's a lot of. If I was playing another game, I wouldn't mind streaming. But like, I just don't want to get too out of character with people because I'm not trying to go there. But in this community, bro, I promise you, dude. Like, yo. Like, it's survivors. I feel like there are killers who they have points, and I understand why they feel the way they feel. But I just feel like it's hypocritical a lot of the times. You literally compare it. You can say, hey, y'all use meta, we use meta. Okay, you sign entitled. You think that you are entitled to a 3 or 4K every game, and you just don't have the own self-reflection to say maybe I did something too wrong. Maybe I chased the survivor all day. Maybe I just played badly. Maybe I made mistakes. Killers can make so many mistakes and still win the game because that's just how bad a lot of these survivors are. Versus a survivor main, I can be perfect in what I'm doing damn near, but I can't make somebody get on a gen. I can't make somebody, I work with this guy at my job. It's like, I do dishes. I'm glad I can just do what I'm doing. But the people that he work around, man, it's like, literally, it's like I've always compared it like that. The man just don't do nothing. He just stands around and just be in the space. It's like, there's customers there, man. Can you just like go to the register and do something? Like it's like he been here like 5 months. He still just have to be told these things. You killers like to just say like, oh, you have the indicators. You guys, there's so many things. You guys have so many second chance perk. Brother and sister. What second? Okay, the DS got deactivated when the gates are done, like when the gens are done. Off the record, deactivates when the gens are done. Those are like the 2 perks that really saves you in game. Those are the 2 perks. And with DS, they already knocked off like the stun from the killer, so he gets less stun and he can get you faster. And they already made it where you can't do conspicuous actions. But like the mere fact that like when the gates are done, that they nerf it. You talking about second chance perks? Those are like the ultimate second chance perks. Adrenaline, that works like one time in the game. And that's not even guaranteed. That's RNG because you have to wait till the gens are done, and you have to hope that your teammates are doing gen. That would indicate that people are doing generators, which a lot of people aren't. I'm trying to think of like other second chance perks that we're talking about. What are these second chance perks that people do, and it's like that? Because I know plenty of perks that killers like. People love running these jolts. They love running the mere fact that you can just see where I'm at in the beginning of the game. The mere fact that you can just see that, like you did nothing. You can just see where I'm at immediately. You ain't gotta rely on scratch marks. You can just see my thing is now. You may argue, oh well, see, listen, the game is asymmetrical, right? This is what y'all have to understand about DBD. The game is asymmetrical. What works for killers, what works for survivor is just fine. It is what it is. When you try to compare it being like, well, you guys have this, you guys have that, we are not on the same level of strength and speed as killer. Our stuff is very limited on what we do. You killers have the powers infinitely. Right? You guys are killers, but yet at the same time, there are just more of us trying to outlast and run and stuff like that than it is of you. So the game is asymmetrical. Our perks are asymmetrical. You can't compare. Well, y'all have, but I will say this: the only thing I compare it to is when we talk about meta. Because I could see if killers didn't have top 10s, whatever, but killers have the exact same perks. They have the exact same stuff, and they play a certain amount of killer. How many times are we gonna see Weskers? And then abused in that hitbox and that where he could just like fly through you and you clearly made that window, but somehow he like aggressively grabs you like he's Johnny Cage for some reason. That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing I compare it to, is that the game is asymmetrical in that sense. I mean, it's the same in that sense where we both have metas. We both want to win the game. We're just two different roles. I'm a survivor, man. I'm individually, but I'm on a team. You are a killer, man. You're individually, but you're going against 4 people. And all I can say is, like I said, man, like the kill race does not lie. Like the kill rate, and people, well, people give up a lot. Like, dude, like, but that's just still part of it. It still doesn't refute the fact that at the end of the day, you guys aren't losing y'all games like that. I don't play too many games. Just all day today, the killer got at least 2 kills every match. And that's just me. Like at least. Like, it's just what it is, man. I don't know. But, like I said, I may play Chucky when, I'm able to play him when he's available. Or quote-unquote the good guy. I think that'd be fun. That's the only killer that's played in third person. I do think that, like I said, the game is just, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to expect. I do want to do a video on certain builds that you should use, or certain perks you should use, or just like looping in general. Because for you to really be a good survivor, please stop thinking it's about points. At the end of the day, I don't care about points. And people don't say many times, I got more points than you. I don't care. Like, that means nothing. You probably went for more altruistic plays. You probably was on gens more, while I was mostly bold in one thing, and I was looping the killer, which takes so much more knowledge and skill into the game than just sitting on a gen. That's good though. Like, I mean, I understand not everybody sees the game the same. This is what I mean too. Like, you have survivors who feel like they need to just like be more stealthy, which they do have stealthy perks. I'm not saying that they don't. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't play the way you want to play. It's just the fact that, like, the only thing that's frustrating is, like, I just wish I knew what people's playstyle was going to be. I wish you could see people's perks before you load in. So that way I'm dodging, no mither. There's just like a lot of stuff I just wish I seen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing every day. So I appreciate you guys listening. For those who have listened, like I said, this is just audio. I understand it's not like, I've been doing a lot of videos, man. I'm still trying to get to 3,000. Still trying to get a sponsorship for this channel, hopefully. And I understand, like I said, the thing about doing a podcast is it's not catching on too much with newer people. But I still want to do these things because, again, like a lot of this stuff is just like stuff I just want to talk about. I just want to like get off my chest. It's not always about like a specific video. And I feel like that's what keeps me trying to keep this channel going, is I have different playlists. I have DBD replays where I break down and talk about how we beat Killer or how Killer beat us. I have this, which is the Survivor Sided Stories podcast, where I mostly talk about survivors and my experience and how I feel about things and what I know, facts and whatever. And then there's the main one that I've had for a while, which is DBD Rants and Tips. So this would kind of be like under that rant and tip thing, but this is specifically like the audio podcast. And then the tips and rants is like, how to do something, how to be a better survivor, what you should use, stuff like that. So I have like essentially 3 playlists. I have more, but I don't really use like meme stuff. But for the most part, that's mostly what this is. This is for survivor mains mostly, but I also I try to be very fair to Killer, and I try to say, oh, Killer's this and Killer's that. No, I try to be fair on both sides. I just feel like there's just a huge disconnect, and it's really hard to talk to people when they just want to be rude and they just want to argue. Again, we can agree to disagree, whatever, but there are concrete evidence of certain things. And I just really wish that people really understood the difference between that. Like, you can say, oh, this, that, and that, but this is what it really shows. Or you can feel that, oh, I had a very rough game. I had survivors flashlighting me all day in my face, but yet you still won that game on average. You still got at least a 2K, You can say as a survivor, oh, man, these killers are just tunneling all night. But at the same time, you getting unhooked and then purposely getting in the way of killers so that the killer can hit you, and then getting upset that the killers want to go after you. Again, it's just certain things. So to make a long story short, I am fair on both sides. I just believe in accountability. And I feel like just in life, a lot of people just do not have accountability. No one's perfect. I get it. I'm not going to win all of my chases. It's not going to be fun. I'm not going to always be on the map that I want to be on. But it's just what you have to do. Same thing with Killer. You're not going to get a 4K every game. It shouldn't be like that. It should be, ways where you can play against competition, and it just makes you better. There's certain things that you can do better, and stuff like that. I'm always improving, so it should be the exact same thing for you. But I'm gonna wrap things up. Hope you guys enjoyed this rant this episode. Roll to 3,000 subs, trying to get there, trying to keep it going. If you have any questions or any comments you want to leave down below, please don't hesitate to do that. And I hope you guys have a best day out here. Stay safe. Let's get to Iridescent 1 again, I guess. I guess y'all care about that. I really don't. I got to Iridescent 1, but people have to understand that really doesn't. If you want the blood points, sure. Or if it makes you happy to get there, that's fine too. I remember when it used to be red rank. I remember when I first got there, I was excited. But yeah. But hey, hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a blessed day. Stay safe and nothing else. Peace.